So I'm going to take your comment back out of exclusively combat roles and say that cults destroy our bodies. In fact, we were just talking about this in Cult Book Club the other day. We were talking about all the autoimmune disorders and other things that cult survivors have, the things we are all living with on the other side of escaping the high control environment. And somebody mentioned that she was seeing in the comments, or they were seeing in the comments, and they never realized how many of us in that group were wheelchair users, right? And that was something to talk about. This, I think, is very similar in a lot of ways to neurodivergence undiagnosed life expectancy being 36 years old, because the masking and the just trauma on your body of living in a world not made for you is so traumatic. In cults specifically, a lot of it has to do with labor. What are cults about? Labor. So sometimes when I am so incredibly exhausted at the age of 38, right? I grab this book and I look at it. I'm 2 years old here. And I tell myself, Daniela, you have been working since you were born, right? In cults, what are we supposed to do in high control systems? We are supposed to push our individuality down, and we are supposed to work and work and work and constantly self sacrifice for the team. And that has all kinds of impacts. And we talk a lot about a lot of the brain and trauma impacts more. And I don't think we talk about the body impacts. And there's this thing that a doctor told me when I was going through to get my disability re-upped to what I am now, which is 100% disabled veteran. And I only had 30%. And I was going back through and I was like, these numbers are not right. I want to relook at this. And the doctor, he asked me, he said, how long have you been out? I said, 3 years. And he goes, that sounds about right. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, it takes about 3 years just to unbrainwash from the military thing of like drink Motrin, carry on, don't take a moment for yourself, right? Cults always hate medical care. Just push through it. And I'm putting this in the musical, right? When it's getting very, very hard physically and emotionally for her. And she's like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And she's like, I'm not fine. And she goes, but the cult baby motto is, I can do it with a broken heart, right? And it's a skill that we have, right? Right now, in incredibly difficult times, that's a skill that we have, but it is bad for our bodies. So he says it takes, some time to get unbrainwashed from the military mentality. And then it also takes enough time to live around civilians again